Calvors Helles Lager. Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer. Welcome to another edition of Bangs, Bikes and Booze Reviews. It is pissing down with rain. There is no sun, so there is no yard arm, which is good because that means it's time for a beer. And I've got a can of this Calvors Helles Lager. They're from Suffolk, and I've been reading up a little bit about them, and they specialise in lager. Just lager. A craft brewers that specialise in lager. That's a first for me. It's slightly contradictory though, because they say that they brew English lager and all their lagers are German style lagers. You've got the Helles, well, I say German, you've got the Helles and a Dunkel, but you've got Pilsner as well. So real Pilsner is Czechoslovakian, or Czech from the Czech Republic, or if you want to get pedantic, from Bohemia and Moravia. Not English. Lager is not an English beer. But let me get to the point as to why they did it. Lager is one of the most popular drinks, if not the most popular drink, certainly the most popular beer in the United Kingdom. And the reasoning behind this brewery was because they couldn't get a decent one, and I can empathise with them because a lot of the lager, the mass-produced lager, is fucking shit. There's very few, certainly native, and by native I use that term very loosely. You got Carling, Heineken, Stella, you know, the usual suspects, and they were having problems finding a decent one, and I get that, so I decided to brew their own, and this is one of them. This is the Calvors Helles Lager, which is, according to them, light, crisp and refreshing, and 3.8% in volume. Now that's slightly low for me for a lager. That's the sort of ABV I would associate with a French supermarket lager, you know, the type you get on the booze cruises going over to Calais and all that. Honestly, I never got why people went over there to France to get beer. Jesus Christ. Belgium was just up the road. They could have went there and got some great beer, but that's by the by. They're a British brewer, so you know I really want to try British brewers, and I've just ordered I've made a point of ordering a load of British beer from Beers of Europe. Some abstract ones, some well-known ones, because you know in these times we should really be supporting British breweries. So I'm gonna attempt to get a good balance now of British beers as well as foreign beers as well, because you know there's never been a time that you know they need more help. Let me stop gassing and let's investigate what this beer is all about. Okay, as I said, it's a lager, or a Helles lager to be more accurate. And as I said, they make a point about brewing British lager, but it's a Helles. It's 3.8. It is light, crisp and refreshing, according to them. Crisp is, you know, it's an adjective that's used for lager. I would not use that for lager. I would use smooth. Lager's not crisp. It's crisp. You want crisp. You want to try Gers or Huza, depending where you come from in Belgium. You want to try them sour beers. Now they're crisp. Lager is not crisp unless it's extra bitter. In that case, you know, you're bordering on the hopped lagers. But you know, again, I'm rambling. On the back of the can, Helles is our refreshing, gold award-winning session lager. This exceptional flavour and drinkability belies its lower alcohol content. Contains barley wheat, suitable for vegetarians and vegans. Calvors, this is the bit about the thinking behind the brewery. So what they're saying is Calvors Brewery was created in 2008 to brew English lagers without the chemicals and preservatives found in mass-produced beers. Yeah, you do find that. I'm sure they're using preservatives and chemicals in beers, but you never see that on the ingredients. They only, most, even these macro brewers, they only put the hops. You never got the fish bladder that they used to use in beers. You never had that on the ingredients, and that fucking annoys me. I think, if the EU were going to do something, they should make brewers list everything, and I mean everything, that's in a beer, all the E numbers, and there are fucking E numbers in there, believe me, in some of them. What else does it say? Calvors Brew was created in 2008 to brew English lagers without the chemicals and the preservatives found in mass-produced beers. We brew by hand using only 4 ingredients: water, malt, barley, hops and yeast. We produce a range of award-winning lagers of English and American style ales. Yeah, they do IPAs as well, but they make a big thing about lagers, and this is their flagship lager. The point that they're making about brewing decent lager is a good one, I think. There's very little indigenous British lagers, but as I always say, if you're going to brew lager, you've got to match the price with the quality, otherwise you're fighting a losing battle. So they've been going since 2008. Let's see how much experience goes in to making this. Right, let's get it open. This is a Helles, and I'm going to be judging this on the German Helles styles because that's what it's called. If they call this an English lager, then I'd have judged it on its own merits, but they're comparing this to a Helles, so I'm going to compare it to some of the best Helleses I've tasted. Here we go, on the nose. And you know what? That doesn't smell bad at all. I am getting some of the sweet malt that you would get from a German Helles lager. A good German Helles lager, and I'm talking Augustiner, Paulaner, Bavarian style Helles. I must say that is sounding promising. There's a bit of lemon citrus on there. There's some sweet malt, sweet nutty type malt. Let's get it in the glass and see what's going on. 3.8%, so I'm going to bear that in mind. There is in the glass, yeah, slightly hazy. Now they do say this is not pasteurised. It's filtered, but it's not pasteurised. Okay, so there is a haze to that. Yeah, definite haze. You probably can't see that in the camera, but it is there on the nose, out of the glass. There's definite lemon citrus in there, and some of that sweet nutty malt that I was talking about. Let's get it down the hatch and see what's going on. Cheers. Not sure. There is a lemon citrus running through that, which is almost making that taste sour. Now, I'm not sure whether that's because of the fact that it's not been pasteurised. There's a nice malty back end on it, but there's a subtle sourness to it, like I can't explain what that is. It's like a lemon. If you can imagine a sour lemon, I know that lemons are bitter, but there is a lemon sourness to it. And to be honest, it isn't that great. It reminds me of the Brains lager that they did, the craft lager, which was called Point Break. That was like a sort of a fruity hop lager, but it had this sour finish to it. And that's the only time I've tasted that before. It's different, I will say that, but it's not Helles. This just does not compare to a German Helles. And I've said this, you know, I'm not going to go into rant mode, but I am. All you need to do is go to Germany, taste that fucking lager, bring it back with you, and do your utmost to get as damn near to it as possible, and you've got a winner. It does worry me that brewers that brew craft lager can get it so wrong. And I think, to be honest, they've got this wrong as well. They're calling it Helles. That's not like a Helles. Well, you know, they're calling it English lager, then they call it a Helles. To be honest, you shouldn't really make a big thing about, you know, if they'd have called this English lager and had it on the front, English lager, I'd have said, yeah, you've created a new style here, this could catch on. A slightly sour tasting lager. You know, that could be a trademark for English lager. Have that slightly sour sort of flavour to it, and people will like that. You know, a lot of people won't like it. I'll grant you that, but some people will. Brains did a similar thing with their craft lager, the Point Break lager, and it was okay. And this is okay, but when I see Helles on the front of it and I taste it, I don't think that's a good description of it. The cynic in me thinks they put Helles on that as a marketing thing because everyone else is doing it, like Camden Hells, or Helles. They called it Hells, but I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to play on that. It sounds like I'm bashing them. It's not a bad drink. If they just hadn't called it Helles. That's what annoys me. And as I say, you know, this could have been an English style lager. They could have been the originators of it, made a big thing about it. I don't know, stuck a fucking Union Jack on the front, said English style lager, you know? So, you know, the definitive English style lager. This is how we're brewing it. The Americans done it with IPA. And look at it now. People are over here are attempting to copy American style IPAs. And I think this is where they're going wrong. Anyway, rant over. What's the verdict? Overall, slightly disappointing. Whereas the beer isn't that bad, the description and the missed opportunity there wind me up, and I'm gonna deduct a few points for that because, you know, this could have been the start of something brilliant, but, you know, I should really try the Dunkel and the Pilsner that they do. But, you know, if you're watching anyone from the Calvors Brewery, make it your own. Make this lager a British style lager, you know? Break some fucking ground and don't try and copy the German style. Let the Germans have their style. Let's try and do our own style and make it our own, like the Americans did with IPA and Pale Ale. You know, there's room for everyone, but just don't try and copy and make a fucking pig's arse out of it. Oh, rant over. I will give this, I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10. And would I recommend it? Nah, I won't. And I'll tell you why. Because I bought this from Beers of Europe. On the same site, they're selling Paulana, they're selling Augustina, and they're selling, who's the other one? Even, do you know what? Even the Dortmunder Union that I bought from there, which was cheaper, that was a better beer than this. Just don't call it Helles. 5.5 out of 10, not recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.